everybody, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Sarah Ann Vale. Today we're gonna cook diet-free salad. Stay with me. We're gonna make scrumptious, hearty, filling salads. And we're actually gonna do a potato salad and a cabbage slaw with the same vinaigrette. And you don't need to spend a ton of money on salad dressing when you can make your own. To start, we're gonna get our potatoes cooking. In this pot, I have about 2 pounds of potatoes. Just so you know, keep those skins on those potatoes. Half the fiber in a potato is in its skin. Potatoes need a lot of salt, so literally a handful of salt. I have Himalayan pink sea salt. And now, one of my secret ingredients. I never throw away any of my canned liquids. I have pickles here and a bunch of pickle juice. We're making potato salad and flavoring it with dill. In here is good brightness from the vinegar, dill flavor, and some more salt that we're gonna flavor our potatoes with in the water. Literally just, yeah. We're gonna start these potatoes in cold water so that the outside of the potato isn't overcooked by the time the inside of the potato is completely cooked. We want everything to come to temperature at the same time, and you're gonna have perfectly cooked potatoes all the way through. While the potatoes are cooking, now we're gonna prepare our cabbage slaw. I love cabbage. My husband literally put cabbage in my Christmas stocking this year. Cabbage is such a great thing to eat if you want a green, but you want it to be crisp and hearty and crunchy. The other really nice thing about cabbages is if you do things in bulk, the cabbage isn't gonna wilt. Like you can make a slaw and eat it for the rest of the week instead of a salad with like a more tender or delicate green. You gotta eat it right then. Otherwise the dressing's gonna wilt it and it's sad. This is gonna be happy all week long. I have a whole head of thinly sliced red cabbage. I'm gonna add it to my bowl. I also have a whole beet. Beets are so great. They actually tell you how healthy they are. If you have a food and it's deep rich red or deep rich purple, it's telling you that it's full of iron. It's telling you that it's full of minerals. You want to eat a colorful diet. It's more fun to see something beautiful and rich, and it's more fun to eat it that way too. And this is gonna fill you up. I'm a person that needs to have extra iron in my diet. If you are anemic, going vegan, or just want to eat something other than red meat to get you some extra iron, deep red and purple veggies are the way to go. They're screaming at you, eat me. Beets have nitrates, which help increase stamina so that you can go the distance. I have 1 thinly sliced sweet onion. Now we're gonna dress our salad. We're gonna make our own salad dressing, which is so easy to make. Any salad dressing is usually a 3-to-1 fat to acid ratio. So a fat like an olive oil and an acid like a lemon juice or a vinegar. I'm gonna actually use olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, because it's yummier and better for you, and apple cider vinegar, because that also is good for your tummy and many, many other things. To emulsify them, we're going to use Dijon mustard. You've got me feeling emotion. An emulsifier is literally a substance that's gonna marry our acid and our fat together. Because if you've ever bought Italian dressing from the supermarket, it separates every time and you gotta shake it up. So we're gonna add an emulsifier to bring our odd couple together. I have apple cider vinegar here and a jar of Dijon mustard that I've eaten almost all the Dijon mustard because we're actually gonna use this to make and squeeze our salad dressing. I'm just gonna eyeball it. For this, I like it a little more acidic, so I'm gonna add closer to a 2-to-1, but if you wanna just stick with the standard 3-to-1 oil to vinegar, fat to lemon juice ratio, you're good to go. Start with my vinegar. Bring it about 1/4 of the way up. I'm gonna add some fresh garlic. The more you mince or chop your garlic, the spicier it's gonna be. So if you don't chop it at all, it's gonna be just nice and warm. And if you finally mince it, it's gonna be really zippy. Now we're gonna flavor our vinegar with fresh garlic. And this is kind of a secret ingredient of mine. I'm gonna add steak seasoning. So we're going to season our cabbage and our potatoes as if they're a steak. That's what's gonna make them taste rich, meaty, wonderful. In here, it's got good garlic flavor, rock salt, black pepper. You can season this however you wanna season. I'm actually gonna add it right into, yes, my mustard jar. Give it a little mix. So to our vinegar and seasoning, I'm gonna add olive oil. I'm gonna do at least twice the amount of vinegar that I put in there. Perfect. And then we're gonna shake it up. If you were doing this in a bowl, you could whisk everything together. But the nice thing about this is we're gonna let that Dijon mustard marry all of the oil, all of the vinegar together. And now you have a squeeze bottle of dressing in your fridge. And you can do this with whatever you want. If you wanted to do an Asian-inspired dressing, you could use sesame oil and like a rice wine vinegar. You can do literally any flavor profile you want, as long as you have the ratio of oil to fat together. If you didn't want to have any emulsifier in there at all, that's okay. You'll just have to whisk a lot and make sure you dress as everything is all brought together. Just so you know, if you're not a fan of mustard, honey is another sweeter emulsifier. Now that our dressing is all brought together and ready to go, we're gonna dress our cabbage salad. Oh yeah. Just toss her together. I used a little more acid in this vinaigrette since we're using raw beets. So since there's a little more acid, it's gonna soften the onions, it's gonna soften the beets, it's gonna bring everything together. And right now, it's delicious. Tomorrow, it's gonna be even better. If you drop something, make sure it tastes good. That's also a good way to know if your dressing is properly seasoned. You never wanna just taste your dressing as a dressing. You wanna taste it on what you're dressing, because the dressing is meant to season the other food that it's dressing. So once this is all tossed, it's done. We're gonna set that aside, because I think our potatoes are perfectly done. Oh yeah. We're gonna check if our potatoes are done. Your knife should just have a little bit of resistance right when you get to the center of the potato. You want that texture where it still holds together, but it's all seamed. And delicious. Since we seasoned our water before, our potatoes are already yummy. Now we gotta drain our potatoes so we can dress them up. Get all dressed up nice and pretty. We're actually gonna dress the potatoes while these are still warm, because then they're gonna soak up all of that dressing. We're gonna use the residual heat of the steaming potatoes to just warm through some other ingredients. Some chopped onion. I like a little bit of celery in there, just for some different texture and crunch. And the more green you can get in your diet, the better. I'm gonna toss it up. You can see the color of the celery is getting just a little brighter. You can see it's just getting warmed through. And while it's still warm, we're gonna dress it up. Get them all dressed up, ready to party. I love that the creaminess of the potato actually adds kind of a creamy element to the dressing itself. If you wanted to do a cream-based dressing, but you didn't want to do a mayo, my favorite thing to add is yogurt. I love yogurt. It has that little bit of tang that a mayo has, and it has that same cream element with more protein and usually less fat. We're going to add some beautiful dill. We had that dill pickle flavor in our potatoes. We're gonna echo that with fresh dill. I like to add the brightest flavors at the end. As you're building flavors, you want the brightest flavors to come at the end, because they usually come first when you taste it. And all of those deep, rich flavors, like that dill pickle that we literally boiled into our potato, is gonna follow. That's how you get layers and layers of flavor. It is herbaceous. I'm gonna do a little hot and cold action. This potato salad is just as good cold out of the fridge the next day, but I love to eat it warm. I gotta get some of this cabbage too. The cool cabbage. And the rich, beautiful, vibrant beets. That is a colorful thing food. Everything you eat should be naturally colorful. I'm gonna mix them. I'm gonna get a piece of the crunchy cabbage with a piece of the creamy potato. Yes. The crunch is like applause ringing in my ears. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for cooking with me. Thank you for living diet free with me. Please subscribe. Please ask me any questions you have. I will see you next week with another diet free recipe. Mwah!